Hi, welcome everybody. I've got a recording here for your class. This is for Precalc Wednesday, December 23rd, day before winter break. So this is an asynchronous day for us. So here's your agenda, pretty short and sweet. First is watch this video. As you can tell, it's a bit of a longer video, so feel free to pause, rewind, fast forward as you see fit. Afterwards, you're going to complete the Hyperbola check-in on Schoology. It is a Schoology quiz. It's all on Schoology, so no work submitted is required. And you have any time during the school day to complete it, so anytime between 7:30 and 3 p.m. Watch the video, get the practice on hyperbolas, and then take the quiz. Before I get into some practice for you, over winter break, there's an optional holiday conic review for you to do. So you'll see it posted in Schoology as this. It's optional first off, so if you choose not to do it, it will not count against you. But if you are iffy on conics or you're iffy on you're not crazy about your grade, whatever it is, this is a great opportunity to review some stuff, to go over, keep it fresh in your mind for when we get back in January. When we within the first few weeks back, we will be taking a conics test, so it could be helpful. It will also count as a 10-point grade if you choose to do it. So again, totally up to you. If you want to take that break to just relax, feel free to do it. But if you want practice, use it for that. With that, we are going to jump into it. So this is what we had planned for the day. So first, a little warm up. What I would like you to do is take a second to just pause the video, and you can try this out on your own, and then start it and hear my explanation. All right, hopefully you paused it, and now we're back. First 5 problems here. We're doing a little Name That Conic, everyone's favorite game. So the first conic here is a parabola. It's a parabola because there's only one squared term. There's only x squared, there's no y squared. Number 2 is a circle because the coefficients for the 2 squared terms are the same. So it's like a 1 and a 1, so that's 1. Number 3 is an ellipse. It's an ellipse because of this 4 and this 3, the coefficients on x squared and y squared. They're both positive, but they're different numbers. Number 4, another circle. Oh, oh, oh. Circle. That's what that says. It's a circle again because these are both 7s. They're the same number. They're both positive. Circle. And last one, number 5, is our fourth conic. It is the hyperbola. The reason why it's a hyperbola is all about the negative sign here. So it doesn't matter if the 9 and 16 were the same or different, but the fact that one is positive, one is negative makes it a hyperbola. Which transitions us right into the basics of graphing a hyperbola. So from this equation, I know it's a hyperbola because the minus there. And I also know because y comes first, and y is my positive term. See how there's no sign there? There's a negative with the x. So because y is positive, it is a vertical. Specifically, y squared is positive, that is. It is a vertical hyperbola. And its center is at, be careful in naming the center, remember your x value of the center goes with your x binomial. So -1, comma, -3. I'm just going to go right to it and plot that point because why not? I know everything's going to build off of that. So I got the center plotted. Now underneath my x squared is a squared. So a is 5. Underneath my y squared is b squared. So underneath y is 4, so b squared is 4, so b is 2. This gives me a lot for my hyperbola, so I know it's going to go left and right 5. And up and down 2. Just like doing an ellipse, the only difference is now instead of drawing like an oval shape, you're going to draw a asymptote box, basically. And you extend the diagonals of that box. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. He is barking. Anyways, so what I've graphed now, that's not the hyperbola, that's the asymptotes. That's what guides my hyperbola. My hyperbola, again, because it's vertical, will be a vertex above and below the center point. That's not great, but it should be guided by the asymptote. So you can see, because it's a really wide box, the hyperbola is pretty wide itself as well. All right, I got everything set, but now I got to go back and check it out and figure out where the foci would be. So whenever you think about foci, think of the letter C. For a hyperbola, C squared is A squared plus B squared. So C squared equals 25 plus 4. C squared is 29, which means C is the square root of 29. Which means the foci are root 29 away from the center point. Specifically, excuse me, because it's vertical, it's going to be root 29 up and down, so I know that's a little bit more than 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost to 5.5. So there are my foci. I should always list the coordinate points. You can do that as a decimal and figure out what exactly the coordinate points are, or you can just list the center point. The center point is -1, -3, and what I did is I added and subtracted root 29 from the y value. So the foci are at -1, comma, -3 plus or minus root 29. I was about to ask if anyone had questions, but you guys are in the video. All right, guys, so what you're about to do now, the video for the other class is going to kick in for some more practice. There's a lot of practice for you to go through to prepare you for this little check-in. Make sure you're good kind of going into break. The video is going to kick in with this problem when I remember to start recording. So why not give this a shot yourself and then work along with me on completing it and the rest of the class. Of course, like I said before, feel free to pause, rewind, fast forward, whatever you want to do as you go through. Good luck. Have a great break, everybody.
Because I add 25 on the left, means I subtract 100 on the right, because it's 25 times -4. Cool, let's keep it going. 9, y plus 3 squared is that perfect square. 4, x plus 5 is that perfect square. 72. You want to get it into the form where it equals 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to divide everything by that number that you're left with on the right, 72. That's why it's really important that you stay balanced. You add the right thing to the right side, because if you had a different number like 50 there, like everything about your answers are going to be different. So make sure you're balancing correctly on the right hand side. 9 over 72 simplifies to 1/8. 4 over 72 simplifies to 1/18. Final answer, final equation. Y plus 3 squared over 8 equals minus final equation. There she is. All right, Dat, from that final equation up, top right corner, what's my center point? We have Dat for that.
Like just the vertex?
Yeah, what's the center point, not vertex?
Wait. Oh, like c squared equals a squared minus b squared?
No, center point is just the point that I get based off the two binomials here.
like -5, -3.
Exactly. Yeah, there you
So
go.
I got
So the
confused.
center point is -5, -3. Vertices would be where you go up and down from that. And then foci would be where you do c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Good, so center's -5, -3. Good job not to do -3, -5. It's easy to get those mixed up. Great. All right, now I want to find the transverse and conjugate axis. Transverse is based off of whatever comes first. That's b. If b squared equals 8, that means b equals square root of 8, which is 2 root 2. 2 root 2 is how far you go up and down. So the total transverse axis is 2 root 2 up, 2 root 2 down is 4 root 2. Two root 8 would be the same thing, just not simplified. So simplify if you can. It's not a 2 root 8 is the same thing, just not as a. It's like leaving a fraction as like 2/4. All right, and the last one, conjugate axis is based off of the second, the negative one. So that's a squared is 18, so a squared of 18, which is 3 root 2. We're going that left and right, so 6 root 2. Again, yeah, you could have written that as 2 root 18. It's just not simplified. It's better to simplify if you can. It would go to 6 root 2. Questions? Good. Virtual crew, good. Questions? Let's try out one of these together, and then we'll do some practice where you can kind of show what you know. So I think these can be trickier, but again, it's about kind of problem solving. It's about graphing it. Really gives you a good visual representation. So I want to find the equation of hyperbola whose vertices are here and here, and foci are here and here. So whenever you have points given to you, go and graph it. Start writing an equation which you know of it. So vertices 4, 1, and 4, 9. Foci 4, 0, and 4, 10. All right. So remember what a hyperbola looks like. The foci are kind of like inside the cup of the hyperbola curve. So you know it's going to look something along the lines of this, right? So I know a lot from that. So the first thing I will pick out is the center. So because I have a point here which is 4, 9, and 4, 1, the center point should be right in the middle of those two at 4, 5. Yeah, so to find the center, you could do it one of two ways. First way, find the middle of the vertices, which is what I did, or find the middle of the foci. The foci are at 4, 0, and 4, 10, so what's right in between 0 and 10? 5. All right, once you find that center, you want to look at what you got graphed here. All of these points make a vertical line, which means it's a vertical hyperbola. I think I got enough to start writing my equation, so I'm going to start doing it. It's going to be a binomial fraction minus a binomial fraction equals 1. That you can do first thing if you want, if that helps. But I know that it's vertical, which means y will go first, x will go second. I also know the center's at 4, 5, so it's going to be x minus 4, y minus 5. That's a lot. I mean, that's like half my equation there. But I can find more. So the vertice here is, I can see 1, where's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 away from the center, that's my b value. And b's 4, that means b squared is 16. I also need to know a, but I don't know the width of that box. But I do know that the center is 5 points away from the foci, so that means c is 5. And now you can use your equation. C squared equals a squared plus b squared would leave me with 25 equals a squared plus 16. So 9 is a squared, which means a is 3, but 9 is what goes in the equation. Any questions on that? Any questions, guys? All right, you guys gonna try a couple out, and then we'll do some whiteboard. Oh no, we got questions. Juliana, what's up?
Wait, why is C 25 and not like B 25? Or like C is 5, but like, you know.
So yeah, C is 5 because the distance from the center to the focus is 5. And B is 4 because the distance from the center to the vertex is 4. So what I plugged in was, 5 squared equals a squared plus 4 squared.
Okay.
Yeah, Amani, what you thinking?
Yeah, when we're graphing, is drawing like that box on the inside mandatory, or is it kind of just like it's a banana?
When you're graphing it yourself, yeah, you kind of get it. Yes, when you're graphing it. Here I'm just like kind of drawing a sketch, getting a rough idea of it, so I didn't do it. But if I wanted to go back, I would basically like erase all this and draw the whole box, so I know how like wide it's gonna get. Yeah.
So if we're doing a problem, we should always draw the box inside.
If you're graphing it, yeah. If I'm asking just for you to come up with the equation, then you can do whatever you want. Cool. Good question. All right, you guys try these couple out. I'll put up the answers in like 5 minutes. You can ask me questions again. Hey Grant, what's up?
And what's the transverse versus conjugate? Is it like the x? Which one's the x or y?
So they could be either way. It's not necessarily one's always x, one's always y. It's whichever one's positive, so whichever one comes first, that's your transverse axis.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, that's a great question. So as we check out number 1, completing the square here, right? We're factoring out those values. Well, we gather the x's, gather the y's, factor out the lead coefficient. Notice how that positive 160 becomes negative 10 once you factor negative 16 out. Balancing it all, you get 144 on the right, which you then have to divide over. Now, in this case, x comes first, our x squared binomial. So we can find our center point is 2, 5. The transverse axis, I like what Jillian wrote here. Whatever comes first is your transverse axis. So in this case, because 16 is here, that means A is 4. So transverse is 4 left and 4 right. So 2 times 4 is 8. Whatever comes second is your conjugate axis. So transverse axis is where your two vertices are. Whatever comes second is your conjugate axis, which just gives you the other dimension of the box. So B in this case is 3. So 2 times 3 will get you 6. Grant, do you have another question, or is that from the board?
Yeah. I have one more question. Does the x always come first when you complete the square?
No.
Or does it not matter? Or?
So no, it's whatever is negative we usually place second. But it could be either
Okay.
it could be y's are positive, it could be x's are positive.
All right, thank you.
So I think the one I did before, nope, that's not the one. Yeah, this one, example 4a, the y squared terms were positive, so I kept them in front.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Excellent work, Jillian and everybody on this one. Checking out the next one. Find the equation of a hyperbola with vertices 1, 3, and 5, 3, foci at -1, 3, and 7, 3. So first thing Anna did here, she plotted those points, and you can tell really easily they're all in a horizontal line. So that's going to be a horizontal ellipse. Sorry, it's not an ellipse, it's a hyperbola, which means x must come first. X must be positive. She found the center point, she found the A, and she knows the C. B is what she's going to be looking for. To do that, you can use your equation. C squared equals A squared plus B squared, because C is 4, A is 2, B I do not know. So 16 equals 4 plus B squared. Means B squared is 12, and B is the square root of 12. But what goes on the bottom of your fraction is that whole 12. Any questions?
So if it's a horizontal line, so we already know what A is, but if it's a vertical line, we already know what B is.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a good question. So if it's horizontal there and you know the vertices, you know A. If it's vertical and you know the vertices, then you know B. If you know the foci, you know C. And it's all about connecting them. You're going to likely know 2 of the 3. Probably C and A or C and B, and you need to find the other one. All right, guys, we're doing great. Hopefully you're feeling good on it. Actually, give me, I don't know how you're feeling because you're little squares on my computer screen. Give me a ranking here, 5 being like I got the hyperbolas, I'm feeling good with it, 1 being I don't, anywhere in between. Show me what you're feeling. Okay. Cool. All right, thank you. You got mixed 3s, 4s, 5s, stuff like that. All good wherever we stand. Either way, right now, I want to give you a quick little break. Recharge for a minute. It's a sleepy Monday morning. That's how I feel, at least. So, quick brain break. Take 4 minutes. Turn your cameras off. Go stand up. All right. Okay, guys, let's get in some quicker little practice stuff with hyperbolas. Like I said, we're going to do a little check-in. So a shorter little Schoology, multiple choice fill in the blank kind of quiz next class on hyperbolas. From the looks of it, we're feeling pretty confident with it, which is great, but we'll get some more practice anyways. So go ahead and scan this, or I'll throw this in the chat right now. Where is it? Here it is. All right, so the link is in the chat. Also, you can scan this with your phone. what's going to happen here is I'm going to give you an equation. Are you guys able to scan this, or you want to? However you want to do it. I'm going to give you just an equation. I want you to write 3 things about it. So I'm going to leave you with a blank whiteboard. I'm not going to push anything out to you. I want you to tell me what's the center, what the foci are, and what direction it's going to go, horizontal or vertical. Ready? First one. There we go. There's our equation. So what's the center? What are the foci? And what direction does it go? You can type, yeah. You can type if you want.
My link isn't loading, so could you put this scan up again?
Yeah. Is that to do? Scans back up. I'll go back to the equation in a second.
Thank you.
This, the M3?
Yeah.
There we go. Open up enough.
You have to type it.
You still have to type it in?
Yeah, I typed it in for mine.
Weird. All right, so 3 things: center, foci, and direction. Man, I like the snowman. Tara, good. Don't have a what? Joe. You can draw it.
They have a little thingy. Wait, it's right there. It's right there. Yeah. It's right there. I don't know how it works.
Grant looks good, but check your foci. Check C. Jillian looks good, but check C. Remember, you square. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Dat, check your foci. Emma, good, but your foci should be on the other value, not Y. Jill, put the foci on the Y value. Or sorry, the X value, not the Y. Mia, looks good.
Mr. Crofton, did I fix it right? It's Grant.
No, so remember the denominator, A squared is 4. B squared is 9.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you check mine?
Is that A? Let me see. Good, A, but your foci should be on the X, not the Y, the C value. All right, guys, let's check our answers. So, center, I like what we're putting. 0, 0. Foci, square root of 13 is your C value. So the foci are at plus or minus root 13, comma 0. Notice it goes on the X value because X comes first. It's a horizontal hyperbola. Juliana, what's up?
So even if like B is bigger, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever like thing comes first.
Correct. It doesn't matter which one's bigger. It's all about what's positive.
Okay.
Yep. Cool? Let's check another one. So you can open up a new slide. Yeah, guys, double check yourself, make sure the root 13 is on the X value. I see a lot on the Y values. It's X because X comes first. All right, number 2. Check this one out. Center, foci, and direction. Gianna, check your center. Julia, check your center. Nice, nice, nice. Jillian looking good. Grant looking good. Paul 2 looking good. Tara, great. Jillian, good. Emma, good. Grace, good. You can technically simplify though. What a plus minus. All right, guys. I'm going to throw on the shared screen. Jillian. Lovely holiday decorations. Center, good. Is 3, -2. Easy to flip those around. So make sure you got the X value going with the X binomial. +3, then -2. Your foci, because C is 5 once you use the equation, you can write as 3, -2 plus or minus 5, and direction is vertical. But notice 5 is a whole number, so you can also add that and simplify. So you can write it like that, 3, -2 plus or minus 5, or you can also just literally add and subtract 5, so the center, and you get 3, 3, and 3, -7. That's our vertical boy. Cool. All right, let's try out one more. Same idea. Find the center, foci, direction of this one. Final. Tara, good. Emma, good, but check your foci. You're close, a little off. Dylan, looks great. Grant, good, just move your comma. Your comma's in the wrong spot. Grace, good. Jill, good. Julia, good, but change what you're doing with the focus.
I lost my tool panel and I don't know how to get it back.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you mean? You can't get back to the whiteboard?
Oh, I found it. Never mind. It was just super zoomed in.
Evan, good. All right, guys, let's get our final answers. Your C value is square root of, oh, it's gone. What happened to your picture, Evan? Is square root of 12, which I saw a lot of you doing plus or minus square root of 12, which works. But it's always better to simplify if you can. Square root of 12 is 2 root 3. So I like what Evan did here of -4 plus or minus 2 root 3. You're doing it to your x values because it's a horizontal hyperbola. Evan had a good, I can only assume either a self-portrait or I'm going to say a self-portrait on there. But I guess he just erased it in time. All right, so there we go. And it is, again, horizontal, so it would look something like this. Any questions? All right, let's check out a couple then, what I think are a little bit of the trickier ones. The ones where you're coming up with the equation from information. So for this one, I'm going to push it out to you. So find the equation. I also have it on the shared screen if you're unable to see. Find the equation of the hyperbola with vertices 5, 1, and 5, -5, and foci at 5, 3, 5, -7. If you want to just, you can write like the setup or plot the points on your own graph paper, that's fine. It's kind of hard to graph on here. But try to write your equation on the whiteboard. Juliana, check your X value.
Name?
Juliana.
Oh.
No, you're good. I actually don't know where yours is. Oh, I didn't go that far. No, it's just the same one. Let's see. Dat, so close. Just change your Y binomial. Dylan, I like where you're going. Emma, I like where you're going. Anna, close, but flip your denominators. Micah, fantastic on so many levels. Abe, great, but flip your two fractions. Different order. Grace, great. Jill, great, but flip.
Wait, what do you mean flip the fractions?
Like you have your x squared fraction first.
Oh, it should be the y squared fraction first?
Because it's a vertical hyperbola. Same with you, Jill. Mia looks great. Tara, great. All right, guys, check out the main screen. This is the equation you should have came up with. I got Tara's here. A lot of good work shown, kind of what is A, what is B, what is C, find the center, blah, blah, blah. You know it's vertical because when you plot all those points, they clearly make a vertical line. There's 4 points, but all in a vertical line, so it's vertical, which means y squared should be your positive one coming first. X squared should be your second one coming negative. You got your A value from you got your B value from the graph, and then you find your A value from doing A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Additional props to Micah for putting the mayor of Flavortown on his slide. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's that.
How do you find B?
B is based on how far the center is. So we found the center here, which is in the middle. How far the center is to the vertice. So because from -2 to -5.
Oh, okay. So the C is the distance from the center to the foci, and B or A is the center to the vertice.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Good. Good question. Any others?
So where does 16 come from? Because isn't it a difference of 3?
Yeah. So B is 3, which gives you this 9 on the bottom.
Right. So where's 16?
16 comes from the equation C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Because you know B squared is 9 and C squared is 25, you set it up like this, it's actually B squared plus A squared. Same idea. but it's going to be subtract the 9 over and you get 16 equals a squared.
Wait, where's 25 from?
C is 5. So c squared is 25. And c is 5 because it's the distance from the center to the foci.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so like on all these, A, B, C, it's good. I like how Tara set it up there. A equals figured out. B equals figured out. C equals figured out. You're always going to be given 2, and you probably have to find the third one just using your equation. All right, guys. Awesome job. We had one more, but I'm gonna call it here. I think we've done enough practice here today.